Hey there, CINEMASTER fans. Hope you're ready for some movie magic. Let's dive right in. The events of the series Search begin 20 years ago, in the calmest place in the world, between South Korea and North Korea. As they are always at war, we learn that North Korea created a chemical bomb to use in the war, and anyone exposed to this bomb turns into a ferocious monster, like a zombie, attacking anyone they encounter. At the same time, we see an officer trying to escape with the bomb, deciding to cross the border to get rid of it. Unfortunately, the bomb affects him because he stayed near it for a long time, causing him to lose control of himself. He gets into an accident that overturns his car, but he doesn't die. He manages to get out just in time before it explodes and tries to continue on his way. He keeps walking until he reaches a forest, but he gets lost and disappears. At that time, we see his wife and daughter waiting for him at the border as they had agreed, but he is late. She loses hope and decides to cross the border. Luckily, a team from the South Korean army, who had a mission nearby, finds her. She asks them to help her and her daughter and take them with them because the North Korean army is chasing her. We learn that she used to work in the lab with her husband and knows everything about the bomb. She begs them to help her and protect her daughter in exchange for giving them all the information about the bomb. Unfortunately, the North Korean army locates her and demands that she surrender. She agrees to do so on the condition that her daughter crosses the border. She goes to surrender herself, but one of the South Korean soldiers panics and shoots at the North Korean soldiers. The North Koreans retaliate, and a big battle breaks out, turning the place into a war zone. Many people from both sides die. The mother tries to escape but is despite her injury, she insists on protecting her daughter and succeeds in saving her life before dying. 20 years pass, and we return to the present. We see a soldier named Young in the army. He is a handsome and well-liked young man, known for being kind and brave. Unfortunately, his service is in the same dangerous border area, and his job is to train dogs and protect an isolated area because of the forests and wild animals. One day, he receives a mission to capture a wolf that escaped from its cage and is threatening the safety of the villagers nearby. He gathers his team to catch it and prevent it from attacking the villagers. He decides to take his dog with him and starts searching for the wolf until he finds. As he prepares to confront it, he asks his teammates for help, but is surprised to find them hiding, one up a tree, another crouched on the ground. But Young, despite being handsome, he's reckless and has a brave heart. He uses a tranquilizer gun, approaches the wolf and manages to sedate it just in time before it attacks him. He succeeds in catching it, and his team completes the mission, taking the wolf back to the camp. Later, a team of scientists arrives, including a beautiful doctor named Sa. She examines the wolf to ensure it has no diseases, then returns it to the zoo. The next day, two soldiers go to explore a new area in the forest for security. They decide to split up to search the whole area and finish the mission quickly. One of them goes deep into the forest, keeps walking until he reaches an isolated place, hears a strange sound and feels someone is near him. He gets scared and decides to go back, but suddenly a ferocious monster attacks him from behind. His friend gets worried and goes to check on him, but when he arrives, he finds his friend's body brutally killed. He gets scared and runs to report to the commander, but the monster chases him with unnatural speed, catches him, knocks him out, and takes him to its hideout. Time passes, and the commander notices the soldiers are late, so he sends a support team to search for them. The support team goes to the place and is surprised when the monster attacks them because they entered its territory. But the monster notices their large number and retreats, showing it's an intelligent creature. The team contacts the commander and asks him to send someone from the labs to analyze the fingerprints found at the scene. The heroine Sion, the smartest doctor in the army known for her courage, arrives. She starts taking blood samples and sends them to the lab for testing. The results show it's mutated blood, which surprises them, and they can't identify its type. The camp commander decides to organize a new team to search for the missing soldier in the forest. Young is of course one of them, and he takes his dog and a group of soldiers. Sion decides to join the team, and the mission begins. They all head to the isolated area. When they arrive, the dog smells something strange and keeps walking until he finds the soldier's shoe with blood on it. The whole team is shocked and thinks he might still be alive, so they start searching for him to save his life. The dog keeps running towards him, with Young following, but when he arrives, he finds the soldier dead and is shocked to realize he was too late. Suddenly, wild animals appear and surround the team. The soldiers try to defend themselves, firing their guns to drive the animals away, but the dog gets scared and runs away. Young chases after him, but the dog steps on a landmine and unfortunately dies. Young arrives and sees what happened to his dog, becomes very sad, and cries because he loved him and raised him, his dearest companion. At that moment, his team manages to defeat all the wild animals and eliminate them. They take the other soldier's body back to the camp. Young carries his dog back with them to bury him, deeply affected and sad, promising never to forget him. But the inspector isn't convinced and decides to punish Young, depriving him of his leave and giving him resignation papers, asking him to sign them. Young refuses, tears them up, and is about to argue, feeling unappreciated for his effort and sacrifice. Because of this, the inspector decides to put him in jail for disobeying orders, and does. Meanwhile, Sion reviews the test results from the wild animals that attacked them, and suspects it's a contagious virus that could spread from animals to humans, and cause a dangerous epidemic. She fears the dead soldier might be infected, so she takes his body to the lab for testing. The camp commander hears the news and suspects the North Korean army is behind all this. Then we see Young in jail, and suddenly another prisoner enters, locked up just like him. Our hero tries to scare him, pretending to be the boss of the whole prison just to make him respect him, but the prisoner warns him to be quiet or he'll finish him off. Young gets scared and realizes he's a dangerous person. The next day, he gets out of prison and thinks he'll go on leave, but suddenly a car comes and takes him. They keep driving until they reach the command headquarters and find out the camp commander wants to see him. There, he finds Sion waiting to go in with him, and he feels that things are getting serious. When they go in, the commander plays a video of the attack on the soldiers in the forest. He's shocked to see a strange monster attacking the soldiers in a terrifying way and wiping them out. Everyone is surprised by what they saw in the video. No one can believe it's real. There's a retired general with them, who says he served in the forest when he was young and tells them that there are dangerous things out there they can't even imagine. Then he leaves. Everyone sits there confused, not understanding anything. The next day, the camp commander decides to form a special forces team to catch the monster, and because Young is poor, he ends up being one of the team members sent on the mission in the forest. He gets scared and asks his officer to get him out of the team, swearing he hasn't been on leave in ages, and they find out his dog died too. He needs time to train a new dog and get used to it, but the officer refuses because he knows Young is strong, smart, and right for the mission, and that he's just being lazy. He gives him a new dog, and Young is surprised to see it's an old dog. He goes in to meet the dog and reassures it that he'll protect it with his life. The next day, he takes the dog to start the mission, and meets his teammates. They welcome him and tell him they're waiting for the team leader. After a while, the officer arrives, and Young is shocked to see it's the prisoner he almost fought with in jail. Meanwhile, Sinan is in the lab analyzing the sample she took from the soldier's body. When she finishes, she leaves the lab but hears a strange sound and goes to She's shocked to find the place a mess and everything broken, and the soldier's body has disappeared. She feels someone behind her, turns and sees the soldier has come back to life like a zombie. She's terrified and tries to call Young, the only person she knows who can save her, but he's busy and doesn't answer. The transformed soldier starts approaching her, and she feels her end is near. He attacks and tries to bite her to turn her, but she defends herself and gets away. She calls her friend, and when her friend answers, she hears the monster's voice and realizes Sinan's life is in danger. She gets security guards, and they rush to save her, arriving just in time. They're shocked at the sight of the transformed soldier and start shooting at him, but he has unnatural strength. He keeps standing, and the bullets don't affect him. Sinan realizes his weak point is his head and hits him right in the middle of it. She's happy it's over, and her friend comes to check on her, but notices bloodstains got on her, and fears she might get infected. She takes her to the lab and draws a blood sample to test it. When the results come out, she tells her she won't turn and she's fine. Then she goes to check on Sinan and assures her she's okay. Her friend is shocked by what happened and sits with Sinan, telling her everything she discovered. Sinan decides to do an experiment in front of her to see for herself. She takes a blood sample from the transformed soldier and injects it into a dead mouse to see what happens. She stays beside it, and to her surprise, the experiment works. The mouse comes back to life, but she notices it has changed, starting to act strangely, turning from a peaceful mouse to a predatory and aggressive one. Sinan is scared by what happened and realizes how dangerous the situation is. She informs the army's general commander, who is shocked by what he hears and suspects the Northern Army created this, inventing something strange. He asks Sinan to join the mission to contain the disease before it spreads among the soldiers. Meanwhile, Young and his team arrive at the mission's starting point. When he checks his phone, he finds Sinan tried to call him and is surprised, so he calls her back to check on her. His teammate sees the name on the phone and is surprised they saved her as the traitor. Young refuses to tell the story, but we'll find out soon. When Sinan answers, she's upset with him for ignoring her and doesn't tell him anything about what happened, treats him badly, and hangs up. We learn they used to be together and in love but broke up because they couldn't get along and always fought, like cats and dogs. After that, the camp commander calls Yang and his team to explain the mission detail. He plays the videos and shows them what the monster looks like and how to eliminate it. The soldiers are surprised and keep asking Yang about the monster's appearance, since he was the last to see it in the forest. He tells them he doesn't know, couldn't see it well because it moved too fast and it was dark, but what he knows is that it was wearing an old military uniform, meaning it was a former soldier. The team leader starts giving instructions and warns them if anyone gets captured by the Northern Army, they should end their own life. He gives them a paper and asks each to write their will since the mission could be fatal, so their families will know what happened. There's no failure in this mission. You either succeed or die. He leaves and everyone is shocked by his personality, realizing he's a harsh, merciless person. Yang is forced to listen to him. He lets the dog sniff the scent and follows it. The dog succeeds in finding the place and gets close to catch the monster, but it escapes at incredible speed. Yang chases after it and gets separated from his team, lost in the forest with the dog. He keeps walking until he finds soldiers from the Northern Army, gets scared and hides from them. He tries to escape to avoid a fight, but one of the soldiers hears the dog and goes to check. Yang feels he's been discovered and prepares to kill them, but luckily the soldier's friend calls him for lunch, so he leaves. Yang is relieved, thinking he's safe and comes out to look for his team. But then, shockingly, he runs into another group of soldiers right in front of him. He gets nervous and confused, not knowing what to do, so he runs away to avoid being caught. He radios the team leader for help, but the leader ignores him and doesn't answer. One of the soldiers offers to help, but the leader refuses, not wanting to risk their lives. He decides to continue the mission. Yang tries to hide from the soldiers, but they keep. A machine followed his footprints, and because of that, they succeeded in reaching his location. They started shooting at him to finish him off, but suddenly the mutant monster appeared and attacked them, taking them down one by one. Everyone was shocked by what happened and tried to escape, but the monster was faster than them. Yang got scared and took the opportunity to escape from the place before the monster noticed him, but the monster finished off the northern soldiers and started looking for Yang. At that time, Sion had arrived at headquarters to participate in the mission and help the team, but she heard through the walkie-talkie that Yang was trapped in the forest and his life was in danger. She got scared immediately, and although she couldn't stand him, she couldn't abandon him either. She rushed to save him, but the monster was already close to Yang, and unfortunately attacked him, wanting to bite him. Luckily, Sion arrived just in time, and shot at the monster to save Yang. Yang was surprised to see her and couldn't believe she risked her life to save him. He cooperated with her to defeat the monster and finish it off, but it was smarter than them, and managed to escape before they could catch it. Afterwards, the team arrived to protect Yang and encountered the monster on their way. They were shocked by its appearance and shot at it to kill it, but it was fast and dodged all their bullets. No one could catch it, and it escaped from them. The team tried to chase it through the forest, using the dog to track its scent and find its location. The dog kept running until it reached an abandoned building. Yang realized it was the army's hideout, but refused to enter because he was sure the monster had set a trap for them since it knew the place well. Then Sion introduced herself to the squad leader and started explaining everything about the monster and the reason for its strength. She told him about the experiment she had conducted in the lab, and explained that the virus was the reason for the monster's transformation. The leader decided to gather the team to prepare well. After learning new information about the monster, Sion began to think of a plan to capture the monster alive and agreed with them to use bait to lure the monster out of its hideout. The team liked the plan and agreed to it. Yang and his dog were chosen to be the bait, and they started executing the plan by setting an ambush by the river. Yang went to the hideout and tried to provoke the monster to make it come out and lured it to the open area. The monster sensed him and started chasing him to catch and kill him. Yang took advantage of the opportunity and ran quickly towards the ambush until he reached the river, went into the water, and the plan succeeded. The monster followed him, but it was clever and hid in the water, then got out of the river, returned to the forest, and escaped from them. Unfortunately, the plan failed, and the team felt frustrated and returned to the camp to think of a new plan. Sion decided to help them and showed them a video recorded in the lab during the attack of the transformed soldier on her. She told them he came back to life like a zombie, and his only goal was to kill anyone in his way. The team was shocked by what they learned and became afraid of the monster they were facing because it had unnatural strength. The leader noticed their anxiety and tried to reassure them, promising to protect them and not let anyone die. They were moved by his words and decided to continue the mission. They began training more and preparing themselves for the new plan. At that time, The dog started feeling tired, so Young decided to take him to the veterinary hospital for treatment. Cyan insisted on accompanying him, and they first took the dog to a nearby village because he was important to the plan and could always lead them to the monster's location. They arrived at the hospital where the doctor gave the dog first aid and assured them he would be fine. However, she noticed that Young was injured and offered to treat him. From her looks, it was obvious she liked him. Young got nervous and felt embarrassed, thanked her, said he was fine, and left the clinic. He went out with Cyan to help the villagers. The villagers stopped them and insisted on inviting them to lunch to thank them. Young was happy, patted them, agreed, and went with them. He kept eating and felt like he was among his family. They asked him about the rumors and whether there was a wild animal in the forest attacking people. Young refused to tell them anything about the monster and lied to reassure them. Afterwards, he went to get the dog from the clinic after its health improved and took it back to the camp. When he arrived, he saw the soldiers returning with Cyan and felt jealous because she was beautiful. They kept asking about his relationship with her, but he felt embarrassed and told them there was nothing between them. The next day, the leader gathered them to start the new plan. They decided to finish off the monster, and all of them headed towards the forest with the tools and weapons they might need. Each one took a position to surround their monster. As soon as it arrived, it started attacking the soldiers while they were sleeping, killing many of them. One of them managed to contact the team and informed them the monster was with them, asking them to return quickly. The team was surprised and rushed back to the camp at top speed to save their colleague from the monster, but when they arrived, they found blood everywhere and the soldiers lying on the ground. Young was shocked to see his colleague seriously injured. One of them decides to expel Young to protect the villagers, so he takes the dog with him and runs after it, trying to catch up. He can't because the monster is fast, but he feels reassured that it returned to the forest, which means it's away from the village, so he is forced to go back to the camp. He goes to check on his friend, but is shocked to find that he has already died. He is upset that he couldn't do anything for him, and hates the monster even more, deciding to take revenge. He takes his weapon and heads toward the forest to finish off the monster and avenge his friend. The commander sees him and tries to stop him, trying to calm him down because he doesn't want him to act recklessly and go alone. Young feels frustrated, sits on the ground and keeps crying because there's no one to protect his friend. Afterwards, they call an ambulance to come and take the wounded soldiers and deliver the body of the dead soldier to his family. Young is deeply affected by his friend's death because he was the closest to him. He promises to avenge. The commander feels sorry for him and asks Cyan to talk to him because she's the only one who can comfort him. She does so and goes with him to the morgue to see his friend. He remembers their memories together and feels that he misses him, as he was the first person he met when he joined the army. Cyan is also moved and tries to comfort him, promising to help him take revenge on the monster and finish it off. Young thanks her and goes to wash his face. He decides to personally deliver his friend's body to his family. The soldier's family arrives at the hospital and sees their son's body. They break down in tears while Young waits for them, then goes to speak with them, trying to comfort and calm them, but they are sad because he was supposed to come home for leave and they wanted to see him to say goodbye. Young is affected by their state and doesn't tell them that he died at the hands of a monster, only that he was a hero. Because of this, Young decides to call his mother in case something happens to him, so at least he can hear her voice. When he hears her, he feels reassured and tells her he loves her, asking her to take care of herself. But he remembers his friend's father crying over his son and feels sad that his own father died before he was born. He asks his mother about him, wanting to know how he died, but she gets nervous at his question and doesn't answer, trying to change the subject. He feels she's hiding something from him. She worries about his condition and wants to visit him, but he refuses and tells her he's on a mission and will take leave to see her when he returns. He reassures her and hangs up. At that moment, Cyan calls her friend and asks about the test results of the soldier's body. Her friend tells her that the virus has entered their bodies because the monster bit them, meaning they could turn. Cyan is frightened by this and feels something dangerous is about to happen, so she decides to warn the team. Later, the team leader goes to meet his superior, apologizing for what happened and the soldiers who died, and decides to take responsibility alone. But his superior scolds him for his failure and gives him another chance, telling him he has 3 days to finish the mission and capture the monster, or else he'll go to jail. He asks if there's any evidence that the North Korean army is behind what's happening, but the leader says he's still investigating and promises to find evidence soon. When he leaves, we learn that his superior was present at the incident 20 years ago and is connected to the virus, and there is evidence against him in the forest, which he fears someone will find. At that time, we see an old woman walking in the village near a water well close to the forest. She finds the superior's camera and takes it. The team then goes to the village, gathers the villagers and warns them not to go near the forest because it's dangerous. The villagers get scared and start to believe the rumors about the monster, feeling their lives are in danger. But the team reassures them that they'll protect them and won't let anything from the forest come near them. The soldiers start installing surveillance cameras to monitor the area, so if the monster appears they can catch it. At the same time, they reassure the villagers, cooperate with them and help with village work. The team leader tries to think of a new plan to catch the mutant monster. Suddenly, Young's dog gets injured again and can't continue the mission with the team because it's old. He takes it to the hospital again and decides to leave it there. He informs the commander that unfortunately, he can't take the dog and that it needs rest and can't help with the new plan. The commander gets angry because the dog is the only one who knows the monster's scent and can track it. He asks Young to stay with the dog and take care of it until it recovers, as they need it for the mission. Meanwhile, we see a villager returning home, but he finds traces of blood on the ground and he follows it, but he gets scared, feeling the place isn't safe and deciding to run quickly. Suddenly, someone whose face isn't visible comes from behind, hits him on the head and knocks him out. Luckily, another villager finds him and takes him to the hospital, where the doctor treats him. When he wakes up, the doctor asks what happened. He says it was dark and the last thing he saw was someone wearing a military uniform. The news reaches the villagers, who think the monster did it, so they get scared and decide to defend themselves. They start preparing traps everywhere to catch it, agreeing on a plan to capture it before any more incidents happen. The team reviews the surveillance cameras and sees the monster in the village, noticing that it appears at night and keeps looking for someone to attack. They decide to prepare so if it appears again at night, they can catch it, and they spread out in the village. Later, Young sees a little girl walking alone in the street and gets worried about her. He goes to take her home, carrying her, but she has the camera that the superior is looking for. Young thinks it's broken and takes it from her to throw it away, but is surprised when it works. He sees an old video from 20 years ago filmed in the same place where he is serving. He is shocked to see that a South Korean officer attacked the North Korean army and killed them. This is the evidence the superior is looking for, because if it falls into anyone's hands, he'll be imprisoned and a war could break out. Young is shocked by what he saw in the video and is confused, not knowing what to do. And with this, the events of part 1 ends here. So if you liked it, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button so you never